Welcome back to the Yarn from the Heart podcast. This is episode 2, and today we're going to be talking about spiritual connection, the good and the bad. So I'm your host, Mel, and firstly, I just want to acknowledge that this is being recorded and filmed on Ngunnawal country, always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I did just want to touch on something because I did bring up sexual assault in my last episode, and I probably should have added some information just for anyone that may have experienced something similar, or even just if someone is experiencing domestic violence. You can reach out to 1-800-RESPECT. It is a national domestic, family and sexual violence counselling information and support service. The number is 1-800-737-732, or you can also text 0458-737-732. Chat online or video call via their website. But of course, if you are in any immediate danger, please call 000. I will also put the link below for that. So for today, I actually did have something else planned. But yeah, the Holy Spirit had something completely different planned for me to talk about today. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Today's topic is going to be about spiritual connection, the good and the bad. So when I say spiritual connection, I'm referring to, I guess, like the connection that some of us have with the spiritual realm. It's funny because I used to always tell people, like, I was into a lot of New Age stuff in the past, tarot readings, all that, and I would always, when people would be like, are you religious or are you spiritual, and I would be like, yeah, I'm very spiritual, which I just think is funny now because becoming Christian has been the most spiritual experience that, yeah, it has been a roller coaster ride. And especially in a spiritual sense. I may just need to like clip it here and there and edit, because Kenji likes to look at me when he's ready for bed. Yeah, so we'll just see how he goes. So I guess to start off with there's talk about spirituality. For me, it's been something that has been pretty normal to me. I'm a very intuitive person. I'm very sensitive to spirits, things like that. So yeah, I'll just talk a little bit about like what occurred when I was younger. For people that know me, my family, like, they've probably heard ghost stories about like my mom's house. My mom's house was 100% haunted. It's not that it doesn't really it feels different now. But yeah, maybe because we were younger, like, we were more sensitive to things. But like, we would have our neighbors saying like, what's with all the noises in the morning and stuff, and Mom would be like, what are you talking about? So yeah, when I was little, I remember the first time I saw a spirit. I was laying in bed, and I usually do wake up around 3 to 5 in the morning. That's always kind of happened to me. I was laying in bed and I rolled over. And I remember Mom was in front of me. I was laying behind her. And I just rolled over and I just looked up. Like, there was, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's actually like really creepy. There was just this tall figure, and I knew he was a man. Like, I could just sense it. There was a tall man, and he was just like a tall shadow man, and for some reason I feel like he had overalls on. I don't know if I remember him, like it looked like the shadow of it or something, but I feel like, yeah, he had like overalls on for some reason. And I remember I just kind of looked at him and I kind of like froze because he was kind of just like standing over the bed, like looking at, like he knew I could see him. And it just, yeah, it scared the living daylights out of me. I had to stop myself from saying something else then. But yeah, it terrified me. And all I could think was like, oh my gosh, hide myself under the blanket. So I did that, and I just woke up the next morning. Like I literally slept with my head under the blanket the whole night. I'm surprised I didn't like suffocate or something. So yeah, that was the first time I really remember seeing spirit. And then after that, I kind of would just, it was a lot of the times it was at nighttime, and I would just see like shadow figures, things like that. But there was another time where I had this spirit, this male spirit that would kind of walk up and down, because there's like a footpath that goes like at the back from the back door over to like the, what is it, like the carport, and it sounded like heavy boots, and I could hear him like walking past my window. It happened a few nights actually. It went on, I think it went on for like a few months. And there was even times where he would just like walk past my bedroom window and he would like whistle and stuff, and that was scary. Yeah, so I always kind of grew up like sensing, feeling, hearing spirits around me, and I was always very scared of it. And as I got older, I started to, I don't know, I never really like took to religion or anything, and I kind of like leaned more into like new age stuff because it just seemed to make sense to me. Like I was having all these experiences with spirit and stuff, and I got into crystals, like yeah, like crystals will protect me and stuff. That was just really what I believed in back then. And then I got into tarot reading, and of course like I started doing it more and more because I was good at it, because I'm already naturally intuitive and, you know, kind of like have that connection with spirit. So it just, I did it a few times and it just really came naturally to me. And yeah, so there was that side. Yeah, I literally come from new age background, so coming into Christianity was like a big reset for me. I always kind of just thought like having sleep paralysis, constantly waking up to like spirits in my room and being taunted, I kind of thought that was just something that just came along with the gift that I have, but that is not okay. That's not normal. But yeah, that was also another reason why I got into praying, because I was having all these like scary moments and stuff with spirits, and I started like getting into prayer, and I started to pray to Jesus. As soon as I would say Jesus' name, like the spiritual attack would just stop. So that was another part of why I was like, yeah, like this must be for real, because it works. Thank you, Jesus. Something I just want to touch on is when you are like engaging in tarot and things like that, like you're literally opening up a door between like here on earth and the spiritual realm. Earlier when I was like planning about what I was going to say in this podcast, I was trying to think how would I explain the whole thing with like doors being opened up in the spiritual realm and things like that. And what came to my head was there's a scene in Insidious where like they're walking through like this dark place, and like they have like a light on, someone has a light or something, and like the spirits are just being drawn to them because they can see the light. Literally, that is what happens. Like, if you think that you're going to be dabbling in these things and like nothing's going to come through and nothing's going to attach to you, like, literally wake up to yourself. Because like, and I will say this, like, I have nothing against tarot readers. I used to do it myself, and I have had some like beautiful readings from readers in the past. But like, the truth is, if you're going to be dabbling in those things, of course spirits are going to attach themselves to you. Spirits are going to want to come through. Like, think of it as that you're like, there's this dark place, and there's like bugs and stuff, moths. You turn on this one light, this bright light, you're the bright light. Like, spirits and stuff, they are attracted to like energy, especially if you're someone that's sensitive and, you know, you're intuitive and open. Spirits know that. Like, duh. So if you turn that light on, you make that connection, you open up that door, spirits are going to come to you literally like moths to a light. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh no, but it's about how you do it and this and that. It doesn't matter. You're still opening up a door. And that is something that like, it literally took me like almost up to my baptism to kind of come to terms with, like, I can't be dabbling in like tarot and readings and stuff, because I'm opening myself up to things, and I can't have like one foot in my old life and another foot in like my new life of Christianity. Like, I'm not going to be a lukewarm Christian, and that's something that I had to let go of, something I had to accept. And honestly, since I did a clear out of my house, I got rid of everything. Like, I got rid of my crystals, my decks, like even books that were related to that stuff. I got rid of everything. When I tell you I got rid of that stuff out of my house, oh my gosh, it literally felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. And let me think. Actually, yeah, I don't think I've had any spiritual attacks. There was one I had like a few days before I got baptized. But even that, was using like a deck. Like, I used this, it wasn't a tarot deck, but it was like an oracle deck, but still, like, I was using it and I was channeling, and yeah, and that was pretty freaky. I was having like this weird lucid dream. There was like water in my room, and like my things like kept falling off the wall and stuff, but that stuff is real. Yeah, especially if you're not protecting yourself. But I'm glad I have the greatest protector ever now. And yeah, that stuff just doesn't happen to me anymore. And if I do have like a spirit or an attachment that kind of comes to me, just if I've been somewhere or if I've been hanging around someone that might have had attachment to them, like, I clear myself straight away. Like, I go into prayer and I ask for Jesus to clear me. And yeah, I do the same. Like, I pray around my house and ask for clearing and protection, and I like pretty much never get spiritually attacked anymore. And honestly, when I think about like the change in my mental health, my anxiety is like gone away. My depression is gone. My head feels cleared. Like, when you're doing all these things and this and that, of course, it's gonna like create like a fog over your head. And especially if you're a sensitive person to those type of things and you're very intuitive, like, you got to protect yourself. You can't be dabbling in things and being like, why am I getting spiritually attacked? Like, duh, hello, why do you think? Like, honestly, I just laugh about it because I just feel like I was just, yeah, pretty naive to the things that I was engaging with in the past, and yep, couldn't be me anymore. But no judgment. Like, if someone would have told me 2 years ago I would become a Christian, I wouldn't be doing tarots and or anything. I'd be like, yeah, right. But yeah, that's why I laugh about it. So yeah, I actually I forgot to even say why I'm talking about this stuff. But yeah, that actually is like a good part to having a gift where I'm like intuitive and I'm very connected. I can pick up on messages from God very easily. And I actually wanted to talk about this stuff today because something happened this morning. So I've been like practicing with the worship team at church, and we got like a new song sent out. And so God has just been telling me to like practice this one song, and I have like had it on repeat literally for like the last week. Yeah, he's just been like, listen to this song, and I have been listening to the song. And when I was going to church this morning, God was literally telling me like, warm up your vocals because you're gonna be asked to sing this morning. And I did. If God tells me to do something, I'm gonna do it. And I was in the car like, like literally warming up in the car, like preparing for, I don't even know what's gonna happen. And I did get to church and I was asked to sing one of the new songs, and the song that I was asked to sing literally was the song that like God has been telling me to keep listening to and practicing. So that's why I wanted to talk about this spiritual connection, because even when we think of like connection, the word connection, yes, it's connection to us and God, and for me also my ancestors. I'm very connected to my ancestors, and I know when they're coming to visit me too. But yeah, it's just a different experience. It's all good things. Like, it's not really scary things happening to me anymore. So yeah, we talk about connection in that sense, but we're also connected to one another. And so are our spirit. Like, I believe that we all have a spirit about us that can kind of like communicate with each other, even if we're not physically communicating. Like, for example, me and my mum, we always do it. We're like, one of us will call each other and the other person will be like, oh my gosh, I was literally just about to call you, or I was just thinking about you. Like, that's that connection that we have with one another's spirits. But today I feel like this was the Holy Spirit at work, and he was like telling me one thing, but then he was also telling this other lady one thing, and like it just married up, and I was like, I knew you were gonna ask me. Like, so yeah, I think for probably even for Christians, maybe they don't like want to talk so much about like these type of things with like the spiritual connection and, you know, spirits and things like that. But for me, it very much is a real thing. And even since becoming Christian, like my gift never went away. If anything, my gift has become clearer and more accurate. And rather than getting bad messages about things, like pretty much all the messages I get are good things. Even if there's been times where I'll receive a message about something that probably is not like the best situation, but it's never like, oh, this thing's gonna happen to you, like worry. It's like, this is gonna come up, but like, this is how we want you to react. So I'm always provided, I'm always provided with guidance. Like, it really feels like like fatherly advice. Like, yes, something might come up with this person, but you know better. Like, how would Jesus respond? Literally, that's how I feel now when I get messages about something that, you know, something not so good. might come up, it's like, but respond this way. And I guess it's kind of like, I don't want to say warning because that sounds bad. It's kind of just like a gentle nudge to tell me this is going to happen, but like this is how we would like you to respond, because obviously now I feel like I know better, just with like forgiveness and being patient and having grace for other people. That's a big thing. So yeah, I kind of will feel if there's going to be a disagreement with someone or something like that, and then it's kind of up to me how I want that to play out. Like obviously I can react and be like, oh well, I'm going to say something nasty to that person back, but is that what Jesus would do? I don't think so. We have that spiritual connection, we have that connection, physical connection with other people when we're hanging out, we're yarning and things like that. But for me, I also want to talk about connection to animals. This is something I've always felt from a young age. Like I feel very connected to magpies, especially now. I feel like when like my ancestors around, especially my dad, I feel like he will kind of send me little messenger magpies, and it's kind of like I'll see a magpie will come up close to me. If even the other day I was up on the hill at work and I was praying and I heard this little chirping behind me, and I turned around, this little magpie is talking to me when I was just like when I was just praying, things like that. And you know, in our culture, like we are very connected to animals. Like we have our own animal totems for like different groups of peoples and things like that. I think I mentioned in the other podcast that my Ngunnawal totem is the wedge-tailed eagle. So eagle I'm very connected to. Even when I was traveling around and stuff, like whenever I came into a new campground or place where I was staying, I always had the eagle flying above me, greeting me. And then I mentioned like on that last day in Queensland, I had the eagle calling out to me. He was telling me to go back home to Sydney. And yeah, the eagle's just always around me, protecting me and keeping me safe. And I know that. Another example of like experience I've had in regards to animals, when I was still living in Sydney, I came down here and I visited ACT. I think I came down with my friend for a music festival, but that was before I was living here. And I just wanted to go down to this water area where I feel like connection to. Actually, weirdly, I haven't been and visited that place since I've moved down here. Yeah, I might actually do that soon though. But yeah, there was this one time I went down by this water, and my friend stayed, and I think she was just sitting at the chair. I was like, I'm just gonna go for a walk down here. And I was walking along the water, and I was just like talking to my ancestors, and I was praying to them and just acknowledging them. And then I had a second and I was just kind of listening and breathing, took a moment to myself, and then I was walking back, and out of nowhere there was like hundreds of orange butterflies. I cannot make this up. It was like for like a few seconds, it was honestly like a movie scene, and I was like spinning out like, what is going on? Like, where are all these butterflies from? Like all these little orange butterflies. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like this is like a movie moment. And it just felt like, it honestly felt like I was having an experience with God. And that's why on the day that I got baptized, I actually wore this, it's like a peachy orange shirt. But I went and bought the shirt for my baptism. And I saw the shirt and I had orange butterflies on it. And it took me back to that moment when I had that experience with all the orange butterflies. So I was like, oh, like this is what I'm going to get baptized in. So yeah, very connected to animals. I guess having like this gift of knowing and being a bit more sensitive to the spiritual realm. I've had really beautiful experiences with God and with my ancestors. But it wasn't really until I became Christian where like I got my gift under control. Like when I look back now and think about all the spiritual attacks and like the sleep paralysis and like the entities trying to get at me and tormenting me, especially at nighttime and stuff, like I don't know how I didn't go insane, but yeah, like I suffered from really bad anxiety and depression. Like my sleep was terrible and it was just exhausting. And like since coming to God and like having a relationship with him and his son, like I just feel so protected, and things just don't really taunt me anymore. Like I think they know, like they know who I've got on my side, so like they don't really muck around with me anymore. And it has just really changed my gift. Like it's really turned my gift into something positive. And I feel like that's why I have like these really beautiful moments and stuff, because I am a bit sensitive in that sense of like having that connectedness spiritually. But yeah, I feel like God and Jesus has helped me like sharpen my gift in a way, but also now I use it to help other people without me reading their future. Like this is gonna happen to you. Like now I get messages and I know certain things, and like I can use that in my work, and just when I'm having conversations, I don't need to say, oh, like I'm getting this about you, but I can just frame the conversation and the things that I'm saying around that. So I'm using it for good, and it's not just about reading people's futures and, you know, things like that. I feel like I rambled on a little bit throughout that, but I hope that makes sense. I guess this podcast is more just acknowledging that something does happen in the spiritual realm. And there's a good and a bad side to it. And if you're not praying and you don't have like God and Jesus on your side, yeah, you definitely can be spiritually attacked, especially when you're dabbling in things like tarot and stuff. And I'm only saying that now because I did it myself and learnt the hard way. But yeah, that's it for today's episode about spiritual connection, the good and the bad. Let me know your thoughts, and until then, I shall see you next time. Thanks for listening.